open up a very inexpensive Coke Zero. Derek, I'm not doing this to flex on you, man, but this is loss leader season apparently, because I'm getting these 6-packs of a 16.9 ounce, which I guess
that's a half liter.
500 milliliters, whatever nice even number. I
You're trying to flex on me?
What? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Get dunked on, Matty.
K.O.
You win! Yatta!
Yeah, yatta!
I'm the anime boyfriend here, y'all.
And you are absolutely every part of that too. It is looking. I'm sorry. One more thing. Are the horns almost?
That's the anime girlfriend.
Oh, that is that's a. We got a wee little toga there.
The psychotic yandere girlfriend. That's totally what you want to deal with.
Toga.
Oh goodness.
Just to let you know, it's really not something you ever want to go. Trust me.
Look, if it doesn't involve me having to wear a bulletproof vest and a neck guard, I'm just not interested.
Well, I mean, you're not headlining if you're not redlining, so that's fair.
Yeah, and I think if you get a bomb disposal unit suit, it actually includes both. So, so hi.
I ain't gonna judge.
We. How dare us have fun and laugh at a D&D table, and not play D&D actively? We should be rolling dice and getting mad at RNG, despite that literally being the, the core mechanic.
Pseudo RNG.
All right, so we had we had some interesting setup as we were making the transition from the minutia of combat and the exploration of the feelings of loss and identity and what do we do because the world has gone on without us, and a lot of these deep topics, and obviously these can still continue because it's not like one day passes, we're good, let's go kill a goblin or something. I mean, you can, but I mean, you're kind of a psycho, I guess, if you do that. So you all had gotten together. The good Professor Cypher, who is he's a field representative, has in fact found you, and you had established a very interesting rapport among one or more of you, given his, he's a smart man, but maybe not tactful, or has a certain situational awareness for words or feelings or
or lack of situational awareness.
He's also very not sneaky. But anyway, he did still come out to Selene's funeral, was respectful, paid attention to it. He does seem to be a man of the world, although of course there was that kind of clench up moment where you found out that, he is not just like, it has a bachelor's in Shadowheart studies, not even a master's, nay. He is like a full blown, he is a professor with tenure that teaches history, in particular things about that nefarious Northern Empire, that has a very interesting dish that we explored too, called poutine. And
yes,
and well, apparently that's the official food of the evil empire to the north. Hopefully they can refine the palate on it though. Anyway, so you all had traveled together to Greenshield for several reasons, as you are still intertwined as a group. You, Mordecai, you backed up Stillwater's, on the social front in regards to, giving the news to the parents, but also you needed to find a certain circle. And Casimir, of course, was along for the ride here. Bright, you had some business for you to investigate things that were happening in Greenshield. There was a redundantly sounding small gnome population that unfortunately has become even smaller. As it seems to be approximately one, and that's if you're bothering to stay in town. And then the professor was coming along for this as well to observe and possibly even be able to back up the group as it, as one or more parts of it go here or there over the lands. So the moment had passed. Still Waters, who did you? I forget from last week, Derek. Did you reveal the new you by name in character, or was that just a?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have. I'll have to change the name of the emote then from Jadecup to Jaiden, Jaiden. So we have Jaiden, or I guess if you still want, do you still want to be addressed as Stillwaters? Is that official? Is that if we're talking about you an investigator?
It depends on people's habits.
Sure.
Yeah, most people were his, saying his Stillwaters before anything happened. I don't see why that would change now.
Sure.
It's,
Okay.
it's just the name that the inner circle uses.
All right. So you all had you're at a parting, or at least a moment where you can part, because Jaiden, your intention was to return back to Mask of Horns, and the others were going to go, really here and there, doing a couple different errands, which is going to include going to the Dragon's Graveyard. And from there, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff happening in Uct. There's the Fallfire Plains, let alone the crater that dips down to the sea. Aslandia, remember there's a concert that's going to be taking place a little bit later this month up in the desert. Kandor is a hub of interesting activity. And, Lacuna, by extension, actually has claim on the volcano, which has been smoking and burbling a little bit here more lately, and also in the Dragon's Graveyard. Though there is the mainland, and there's always time to find out information, adventure, or to run into things from where you go. So from here, we'll pick up in Greenshield. If you wish to do one or more things together before the spell is cast, we can go through and narrate that, and then we will begin our, I guess, kind of our whirlwind tour of a sort. And not that I don't want to seem like I'm trying to bully you into not. I don't seem like I'm bullying you into not engaging with something for the sake of, well, let's just roll and keep going. I certainly want to give you a fun downtime. I want you to be able to get information and explore. There's just a lot of things that I want to do I'm chomping at the bit. I'm wiggling in my seat, and I don't even have to use the restroom here, because I want to see what you all do and to get to it. So, anyway, here we are in Greenshield, and we can take it away, and the group can go from here.
Mordecai had just given Jaiden the Sunblade and was ready to cast a spell in Greenshields, so that we could part ways.
Very well. Jaiden, then, you are accepting and wishing them well and stepping back?
Certainly.
All right. I believe
Be careful.
Oh, sorry.
You be careful.
You as well, Mr. Silverleaf. Whatever I have to say is something that will be said later.
We'll see you around.
With that, Jaiden kind of gives a two-finger salute from the brow and starts to make her way down the street, away from the group. There's a lot of questions to be asked, a lot of investigation that needs to be done. The four are more attuned to this. Jaiden's place is among people. still. Dragon graveyard. What a sight that must be.
Very well. How long does it take to cast that spell, Mordecai?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. So Mordecai, you begin casting the spell here as you found where Siphonix had kind of hidden. I mean, you know where it is and you know what to look for, so it wasn't difficult for you. But certainly this isn't a popular place. There's not people popping into and out of existence, left, right, and center here. Pardon me. As you're casting, an interesting thought can come to mind. Was the last time that a mysterious, educated, quest-giving person joined you all, when a teleportation circle was cast here, something unexpected happened.
It was during the ritual at the Dragon Graveyard. That's something
Oh,
interesting.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was at the next one. You got to the Dragon's Graveyard, but perhaps there's an irony or mystery. I don't remember you specifically asking Professor Cypher if he was a dragon, because we totally know that legally works. If you ask if someone's a cop, they have to tell you. So
It's a rule or something.
yeah, it's duh.
I mean, if you do ask, you'll get a truthful answer. But
As the DM, it's my job to be that little anxiety brain meme where you're trying to sleep and then I give you an idea, and then that prevents you or not from proceeding. But perhaps there's some sort of a poetic beauty if I'm talking to the wonderful Mordecai, the lore bard here, where I guess we're going back to where things were really getting. It's wobbled a little bit before, but where we had an interesting time. Anyway, so I planted the idea in your head. You can proceed with it as you will. I presume you're going to continue the ritual, though.
Doesn't change anything. Nope.
All right.
He's got his friends with him. Minus Stillwater's.
Yes.
If she didn't have other obligations that she was tending to, she'd be welcome to come with.
All right. Well, we must do what we must do, and hopefully Stillwater's investigator Stillwater's can uncover things while you all are away and put together pieces that you haven't, and in turn you all can do the same. The ritual goes off. Jaiden, the party vanishes in a flurry of magical effects here, and suddenly this little kind of remote park off to the side, it was a very quaint little place, is quiet again. In fact, this is probably a park where you could often find jade, because it is kind of an out of the way little. It's not like a memorial park, like someone had passed away or something, but it's just always been just a little place where, it has a little bench and some brush. You can kind of just, sit off to the side and, contemplate.
So, oops. Oh, yeah, I'm not muted at all. I thought I was muted. So, I cast sending
Okay.
to Jaiden, and I say, I just want to make sure that we can stay in touch across long distance. That's all. Please respond to this message.
This is the 25 words or less message, isn't that correct? Right, you can't respond after that. I'm pretty sure everything will be
Okay, it works. I don't have to worry.
Perfect. Just told her that we'd message her every day, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think that took care of the first one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess the spell doesn't quite it doesn't discriminate from your words and the thoughts contained therein. So if you're pondering it, but what magic is such a weird thing.
Is it any wonder that Stillwaters doesn't particularly care for it?
Well. So yes, for all of you participating and watching at home, the group is in fact successful at teleporting, and uh-oh. Oh no. I gotta bye. Oh no.
Why?
Bye. Whoops.
How embarrassing.
Yeah. Whoops. I didn't change that page before. All right.
How much we call that an oopsie doodle?
Yeah. Well, hey, now, I don't like that accusation.
Oh, look!
Language bright.
Yeah.
I guess that's our one.
I mean, if you consider the DM a murderer.
Yeah. Well. And we have
Rip.
Casimir and all right. Do I? Do I have a? I don't have one for the professor right now. At least not one that I can. Oh, can I drag that out? Hey, I can. Ooh, never mind.
Yeah.
I have a professor. Ooh, whoa, I have a professor as well.
I
There we
cropped the head. I cropped the headshot.
There we go.
Cropped it so to get the headshot. It works.
Yeah. All right. Well then. So the teleportation works, and you all arrive, at the Dragon's Graveyard, which is a long wedge-shaped valley. It's filled with trees and grasses and whatnot, but all lining all around it is a very high. Not even a mountain, because this place might have been volcanic at some point. A lot of really tough igneous rocks. Like you're sitting in an old, very interestingly shaped caldera, and there's not a lot of people who live here on a permanent basis. Though there is some housing for researchers that come and go. There's a couple hotels for tourists. There's tour guides and whatnot. So there's a little bit of travel because the teleportation circle doesn't exactly plop you down into the middle of anything that could be considered civilization. But you're here, and a quick look around will remind those of you, I guess the two of you that were here, that you are here once more.
Well, let's go see if we can find those researchers, see if they knew where Selene lived.
I don't really know anything about them, so...
Neither do I. She doesn't really say much about her life here, so... kind of just winging it. Trying to find her place.
Okay. Yep, you're searching for signs of where Selene lived when she moved out here. As I don't know how much she necessarily went into detail about it, but she was kind of kicked out, or she was discluded from various research tasks because of her unique take on philosophy. That's a very broad bird's eye view of things.
So just didn't like her playing the
yeah.
That's probably the only thing that she really told Mordecai. So.
And so while we're here, I presume the four of you are still going to stick together for this journey to try and find Selene's hovel. Now, I know Mordecai's goal. Casimir, is your goal just to back up? Are you just aiding, effectively, Mordecai in this?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Professor and Bright, are you all in on this, or are you wanting to maybe get some information, explore something, or do some other task while you're here? If Mordecai and Selene.
It's pretty uninhabited, right? There's not really anyone to talk to.
Yeah, for the vast majority of this graveyard, such as it is.
Well, the only thing I'm gonna do. Oh, this is good timing. It's time for everyone to meet the new Peggy Sue. This is the new Peggy Sue. She's a Palila bird. It's just a kind of bird we have back in Oct. It's adorable. Look
Very.
around. So I'm gonna have her fly up into some of those tree tops that we can see, and just kind of look around and see what the local flora and fauna are, and then come back to me without getting killed, please. In case there's dangerous flora and fauna.
It is paying to have that level of caution right now, considering the plant life is not being as benign as it most always is. All right, so we're gonna be doing a little bit of. Oh my goodness! Oh, Diadems, thank you very much. 22 months. Ooh.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, I wish I can get a year 2 badge, but I don't qualify. Still, thank you all for those of you who have been long-term subscribers. I very much appreciate it, and when I get that ability to do so, you'll have, I don't know. I mean, I've already gone to red for the spiciest salsa. I mean, unless I go to like some like uranium glowing green or something like that, then.
Good. I
Yeah.
would
Or
like
black.
uranium.
Black, like pure capsaicin extract. E4.
Oh, jeez.
I think anyone
There's
would
no
know what
flavor
that
anymore.
means.
It's just heat.
I think we need glowing salsa. I really like that.
We
That
need
appeals to
a
the no.
Carolina Reaper. We need the image of a Carolina Reaper.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So then, with the presumptions that I mean, so you have your familiar scouting, avoiding imminent demise, and informing you if demise is imminent but hasn't happened yet. We are going to go and we're going to try and do a little bit of research here to interact with people and to find out where Selene, the quasi hermit, used to live. And so what I would like in this instance would be, let's go. I would like you, Mordecai, with a little help from others. And I'm sorry, I want to take one step back for the sake of what we're doing here, because you have a, what as Liam Neeson would say, a unique set of skills. During each of these chunks of downtime, you can re-roll your portents if you use them. So we're spending a couple days to, to find people, to try and get to know them, to establish either identity or credibility. And so this is a first downtime task of researching amongst others. And so if you choose to use your portents, you may do so. And then when we get into the next one, that would kind of count as a day for purposes of that. Since we're having a different time scale to things.
I already used them before we came here, so
Okay.
just recharge them then.
Okay, yep, no problem. 1 second. This is really important. Okay, important task done. Now, sorry, I'm 12 years old. Anyway, Mordecai, I would like you to make an intelligence check. But you may do so straight intelligence. This is just straight up int. But you can do so with advantage, as you do have some other smarty pants with you here, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, 22. All right. Well then, over the course of these days, you are going to get a little bit of a feel for the land. In fact, in your search for society, you're going to see different natural features. And you'll see that there's even a couple little monuments where you've seen like bones that have been partially excavated, and there's some there's some labels about that it seems that this is the species of whatever, because you are going through a park in a sense. So you're seeing some sights. There are some old Durgan bones. No one is out to accost you. In fact, there's a research team that you do come across in your comings and goings, but they're here to just give some. It would be like some undergrad students, some lessons in what would be paleobiology. I guess just paleontology. Friendly interactions. They're able to help you find an area where others are going to know more than because they just seem to be rather freshly arrived. Bunch of bright-eyed students here hoping to learn something and maybe go on to make a big discovery later in life. You are led to the you're given a name, a good piece of lore, so to speak, that you pick up someone who could help. You make your way to this city. City is a very generous word. And you begin asking around. It takes a day or two. Again, we're not rolling for carousing, but all of you are settling in. You're getting to know the area here. No one's out stabbing you. No one's out here pew-pewing spells. You do learn that there was someone who did know Selene and would sell her, or probably it'd be better to say would trade her supplies. And he even had an inkling about where she lived, though he had never been there. Simply that it happens where hermits or various ascetics would establish themselves in the mountains along the rim of the dragon graveyard, and for the most part they don't cause trouble. The rangers don't go out of their way to shake them down. If they're not suspected of selling bone or, plundering sites or causing trouble. Because in their own way, they're out here to study or to be better people, and they also are helping in a indirect sense keep the area safe and at least keep an eye on something. Because if they see trouble, then usually they would come out and report, oh yeah, there was a ship fight off the coast. Not that there's like a coast guard off of here, except like a little marine patrol for the harbor area. So you are given an area of the dragon's graveyard where Selene is rumored to have lived. And from this point then, you can set out as a group again, unless any of you, Professor Bright, I'm presuming Casimir is on /follow for Mordecai. So I guess for the other two, if Professor Bright, if you want to stay in town and talk to other academics, or there's a library, there's a museum, there's other things that are located here. If you want to stay behind, or you can go with Mordecai and Casimir out to the mountains and look for Selene's little Yoda hut.
Well, I want to find out. Hopefully it won't take the whole time. I just want to find out if there's any way to know, like if there's any information as to which dragon is which. Is it all just kind of just a pile of random dragon bits?
Oh, the physiology, a certain type of dragon has a bone structure like this, or
maybe, but I'm really just like, do they know like this is the ancient dragon, Abhaber. That's not really a dragon name. Who was slain by this hero, or is it just like here's some dragon bones?
This is there's no names. It is just scientific. We've learned that several types of dragons have existed. These are excavated skeletons that have been reassembled. There's no mention of society or that there are names.
Color.
If there are names, it would probably be a name that the researcher had given them. Now, Dragonborn exist here, and they are. I mean, they consider themselves descendants, but there's no tails. There's Dragonborn don't have tails. There are no legends even among the Dragonborn of so and so the XYZ and such. This is a blue-scaled dragon, and it was found at this site on this date by this team.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll probably want to come back and look at some bones later. But for now, we can go with Mordecai.
Okay. Professor, the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Professor, you've certainly dug around mountains before. You're an archaeologist, so. All right. So then the group is going to set out and try and locate. This hut or this house, and in so doing, I would like for the next set of days and exploration time. Thank you, Kat. Right in the eye. I would like.
You're saying something fluffy we don't know how to do.
Does that mean I should take myself off of mute? And if so, should I roll new portents or just keep the existing ones because I didn't really do anything?
You didn't use them, so I'll let you make that call. If you want to replace them, we've moved into a different segment.
Yeah, I'll replace them every segment. It'll just be easier.
Sure, that'll work.
That's nice.
All right, now, as we have Casimir, who's a person who's done a bit of travel, a survivalist, someone who's spent time in different terrains. Casimir, you are, with the information you've been given, your sense of maps and geography, I would like you to make a survival check. 21. All right, well, we're just blowing this out of the water. Sure. Very good. I mean, I'm not bitter or anything. So yeah, the instructions are enough that with Casimir's help of going through the mountains, and even the professor can get in on this too, because the professor has been known to dig around different sites, especially in mountains, because there's they're full of caves, and where you find caves, you can find all sorts of interesting natural or man-made features. And so the professor and Casimir are kind of leading this task, looking for evidence and signs. Casimir, you do come across a few other caves, and there are others who live in there, and they're able to give you some information. About the lady who lived. Yeah, she's down the mountain a ways, and you're able to get to where you need to go. And the group, after only a couple days of traveling around pretty efficiently, talking to some of the locals who've, they don't come out with a heavy crossbow saying, get off my lawn. There's a couple of them are a little, they've certainly lived on their own, excluded from people for a while, but nothing that the four of you couldn't either talk down or talk through. And sure enough, you find an area that has, interestingly enough, some different, or maybe not interestingly enough, some sketches on the rocks that have been kind of like scratched, engraved into the walls. Not quite like cave paintings, but these are doodles that do match some of the sketches that you've seen in that red book that you've been carrying, Mordecai. And there is some other signs that a follower of Ouijas, or Ouijas, depending on your localization or your pronunciation of it, what had lived here. Though, while this is it's a pretty good cave, no one's taken over. It doesn't look like there's signs of recent habitation, no blankets or campfires. And I don't know, maybe that's because there's very interesting drawings that would probably be kind of creepy, superstitious to other people. We did have an excluded member of the death religion here, who made very interesting drawings about bones and musculature and anatomy. She did leave some interior decoration behind in the form of, I guess, notes to herself. So this place has been passed over, perhaps.
And
yes.
I have two things that I want to do.
Sure.
The first thing I want to do, hi Jaiden, just checking in, making sure that you're okay. Let us know. Okay, bye.
I'm currently on a wagon heading towards Mask of Horns. I hope you are all well, and if you need anything, please don't hesitate to...
Okay, I won't. And then the other thing is I want to inspect the writing, because that's my thing. And I want to see if I can tell anything about the people who might have made it, if there's anything that isn't already well known.
Okay. So there's...
We know it's like Ouija-y, but like, is there any like evidence of maybe how old it is, or the sort of person who made it, or maybe if they were a human or a tiefling, or anything like that?
I think the implication was that it's Selene's drawings.
Oh, it's Selene's drawings. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they match the style that's in a book. Yeah.
That's me failing my real world intelligence check.
So yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, there's probably a little bit of like a little blurb of graffiti, or someone might have come by and was getting kind of, and someone was being a little cheeky, and while Selene had done a very good drawing of proposed skeletons or musculatures of dragons or of people. I mean, you're gonna get the dumb kid that comes by and draws something, kind of lewd on there, or has made a comment that is disjointed from the other scratches and sketches that have been made in this area here.
I didn't realize she didn't live in a house.
We talked about where she grew up.
She's from Islandia, but she came here to study the dragons. I don't know. I just never took her for much of cave dweller.
Me either. She never really talked much about her past.
No. It always seemed like a sore subject, I think.
Oh.
Well, to find a proper place to bury her ashes.
There does appear to be a rock that was... So when you make a campfire, there's usually like a nice ring of rocks to help control embers and whatnot. And there is a larger one, almost like not quite what you're seeing here with the megaliths around in a circle. They're smaller, but there is one larger one where it does seem that Selene has etched into the rock the face of Ouijas, and perhaps used that as a focus or a ceremonial study, a little devout area. And in Casimir as well, you did very well on this roll. There's a strong suspicion you have that while people may not have stayed here, if there were things that were left behind, like a cot or blankets, people may want to run in and loot an area, even if they don't intend on living there after. Probably especially because they don't intend on living there after. So there's no signs of buckets or other things than just the kind of drawings that were left. So she might have had some amenities in there. It wasn't just a cave dweller in a very like rustic, off the grid style lifestyle out on this remote island. Others could have come along, and if she'd left anything behind, could have taken it.
Hmm.
So yeah, just looking for a place to bury her ashes. Then I'm going to make rubbings of all of the sketches.
Oh, all right then.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I think we should know that she was dedicated to Ouijas, and burying the ashes there has some, it has some meaning to it, but I think we should kind of put them all over more than anywhere else. This is where she lived, and I'm sure she went back and forth everywhere, so one place maybe not more meaningful than the other. What do you think? Also, we don't want just a big pile of ash in front of the statue.
Right. Yeah. Scattering them all over.
All right. Getting a sense for the direction of the wind first, you dedicate her ashes to the side of the mountain to, if you want to rub some ash on the various rocks or even into the, the part of the cave wall as well. I don't need a roll. You fortunately don't scatter Selene's ashes on a friend of yours that's downwind.
Appreciate that.
Well, it doesn't. I don't think it would count as meat. I'm sure that's not something that you'd prefer to have as.
If you guys don't mind taking a bit of time, I think I could do some. How do I put? Basically, ash. Normally, you can use it. Sort of like a fertilizer, but not sure how it works with people.
I
But
think
I know
cremation
from that,
ashes work that way.
I know that I could give it a little boost.
Oh, all right. So you wanna?
I want to spend 8 hours, which
Yeah.
Mordecai wants to copy some drawings, so...
Yeah. Pardon. All right, so you want to make a little grove where her ashes, or at least in the areas where they weren't, like put on rocks or whatever. Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you'll make like a little Selene garden outside this cave, and it will become with plant growth. You enrich the land. All plants in a half-mile radius, even centered on a point within range, become enriched for a year, and they yield twice the normal amount of food when harvested. All right. Then that doesn't really require any rolls from you, though. Mordecai, what I would like you to do is you're making these. You're using this this fascinating book, and you want to try and make some rubbings from the etches and the other things that have been made here. I would like you to make an intelligence religion roll. And does either the professor or Bright have that as a proficiency?
Just religion? No.
I may. Give me 1 moment.
I have history, but no religion.
Religion? Yeah.
History. I am not proficient in religion.
I have religion.
Okay. Then Mordecai, you can make a religion check at advantage with help from the professor, presuming that you're letting him, help out or advise, or oh, that's fascinating. The pattern here indicates whatever.
Yeah, he's welcome to commentate.
I will.
I'm not concentrating on that.
I will commentate with what I see.
I told you I'm 12. All right. So,
it's common to pee on the ashes, right?
Yeah. You got to make sure you...
Gotta lube him up.
And just
Old
you know
as
like
Andean tradition.
yeah. Well, I mean, in the endless desert, it kind of, I mean, you got to stir it in, make sure it filters and all this. But all right, so, there's nothing. You don't fail mechanically to, get any kind of, the sketches are there, but nothing. I guess no inspiration hits, no real pattern emerges, or a deeper religious significance than what you already understood Selene as someone who embraced death and magic, as someone who pursued these and was comfortable with her own body, let alone the bodies, living or dead, of others. So the sketches certainly have a good amount of detail. She took her time. And in a way, it's an interesting legacy she's left, because she has taken her time to almost memorialize the work that she's done here. So she may have died in her research with her, but anyone who sees these sort of like anatomical approaches, or there's some questions that don't have answers, but there's some questions on a cave wall that she might have personally been thinking about, or even was a field of her study, and whether or not she answered them, it might be in some way too late to find out. Though, for any curious, it might get you to question some common beliefs. So you are finding evidence of this little rebellious streak, or this unorthodox approach that Selene has been known for. So these are certainly not just, I said there was some, like lewd graffiti that was left behind. I don't think that would have been above Selene, but these are a more professional take on things. So in the book, you certainly can list that you have, like cave sketches or whatnot, but unfortunately there's not going to be any further insight right now on what it could mean, or something that it would point to, or a big revelation like, this has just connected all the dots. But you do have this that could come up again. So now we have her ashes have been scattered. Casimir has, in a very large radius, enriched the soil, and maybe even to a small extent would provide some cover for this place too, if the plants are going to bloom and grow to even greater heights as she miracle grows. So is there another goal here? You have sort of recaptured some of her early studies. You found where she lived. And her ashes have been committed to this place where she put herself into exile before coming back to Mesomasca aboard Lellywellen's Gamble.
It's funny, every time there's a funeral, it seems like there's always something about the person that everybody always thought that they understood, but then it turned out that really the only person who understood it was the one that died. Kind of have that feeling right now. But all the time, and then you feel like, oh sure, I know all about that. And then you don't. Selene, you pulled the rug out from under us, no fair.
Definitely not fair. And he takes a ring off of his finger and goes back to that little shrine.
Okay.
And it's fake. It's not worth anything. But he just places. I'm gonna miss you. I hope you can rest. I still don't know what you want me to do. But maybe she's watching out for you. I'm gonna try and learn what that was about. Your faith was incredibly strong, and I don't understand why, but there's a reason. And I'm trying to find that. I don't want to be immortal anymore. And he gets up and starts to walk away from it.
Mordecai, will you please roll a D100 for me?
Okay.
Okay. All right. There's no reply other than the sounds of nature around you. The birds chirping on this day, the wind blowing over the rocks. If you want to take that as a sign or communication, that would be up to you. Though the trees sway. It's a nice warm. It's a nice warm day. It's summer's day even. A lot of the ocean's humidity has stayed on the other side of the mountain, so it's a little less humid. I don't know if that really bothers you in your current state though, but it's a nice day, and there we go.
I'll try to make sense of it. And whenever everyone's ready to go.
Okay. Casimir,
Doesn't it seem
Cypher,
like-
right?
Doesn't it seem like we came a really long way to spend not that much time?
I don't know what more we can learn here. Everything that she would have had here is gone.
You got those pictures, right?
Yeah. I can't make heads or tails of them right now. I can't concentrate. Maybe traveling. I'll make sense of it or something.
Or maybe the professor and I could figure something out.
Yeah.
He didn't even know her. It's just pictures to him.
Yeah.
Professor, I think there's an old Shadowhar expression that goes, all things with time.
Yes, all things with time. The purpose of it, the purpose of what is here will reveal itself in time.
I don't know. I don't really have a way to pick up if there's anything here. You can detect magic stuff, right, Bright?
I could do that. I didn't think there'd be any magic here, but why don't I
You
take a
never
look?
know.
Yeah, it won't take long. It'll take, you know how long it takes. I've done it before.
Approximately 11 minutes.
Exactly 11 minutes.
That's true. How dare me? Exactly. You have this down to a science. Some kind of wizard.
Actually 10 minutes and 6 seconds. My mistake. It's identified it's 11 minutes.
Yeah. But what you see though, Bright, you always got to tell the captain a longer amount of time, so when you cast before the time, you actually look good and you'll get a promotion in Starfleet. So
Okay.
You got the engines fixed in 5 minutes. You told me 10. Oh, I'm just that good. All right, so you cast Detect Magic, and around here there is there doesn't seem to, nothing's glowing except what the caveat is what you have detected on others that could be magical. There are no new radar pings of magic in this place, although it is a lot of low level, like you're getting you're getting a real low level transmutation everywhere.
That's probably from Casimir's.
Yeah, most likely. Hopefully Casimir didn't just spoil the evidence scene by covering everything in magic. But
I never thought of that use for the plant growth spell.
for a half-mile radius at that.
I'll keep that in mind for later.
Yeah. The perfect crime. I mean, what? There's nothing that's showing, like, I don't know, a ring or something that's hidden behind a rock. It's an abjuration or something. There's nothing in your professional opinion as a wizard that is out of the ordinary for the circumstances you all are in.
I didn't think so. It was worth a shot. Should we get going then?
Yeah, I still want to check in with the researchers at the Dragon Graveyard again. I had some more ideas since then.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Be a good learning experience.
Quite.
All right. Heading back's not going to be terribly difficult, especially with Casimir. Once Casimir is here, going the way back is going to be very easy. There are, over the travel, there's a couple little weather concerns. Nothing that's going to throw you off the trail, because you do have a ranger here. What is checking in? Are you do you want to stay and research something, or what are you? What's your goal for this task?
So while we're here, I want to try to find Mr. Halver's mate. And I don't know if it's possible, but since we know that we can't find dragons by name or by legend or story, but maybe I can find a female silver dragon and see how many there are. If there's just one, well, it's a pretty good chance.
Ah, I see what you're... All right.
Are we trying to locate a living creature, Bright?
She's been dead a long, long time.
Oh.
You know that spell too?
This is extra research, especially as Bright is going to have to make sure she's talking to the right people, asking the right questions. Not that there's a time rush, and I'm certainly, as the DM, not going to put that on you, but like we're not talking like this is a day where you pop into a museum and be like, hey, can I see because you can see it, but if you want to research, if you want to try and get clues or look at things up close or to see research notes or other, access to information, not just look at a skeleton and go, oh, that's pretty, then it will take a little bit more time. I'm fine with that. If you all want to give Bright and this is primarily going to be a Bright thing because she's the one who's kind of knowing what to look for, but
The only one who would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to do it. It probably doesn't even matter to anyone who's even still alive, except maybe for me. But it wouldn't hurt to spend a day looking around and just trying. So, Mordecai, did I ever tell you what happened with Mr. Halver? I thought I did, but maybe I just kind of glossed over it. Sometimes I do that.
I don't think
when
we've
I'm
had a
embarrassed.
real conversation since we got back from the desert, to be honest.
Point.
So, before he died, Mr. Halver shared, we'll call it shared a memory with me, where I
The
was
same way
able
you
to
did
see.
with me?
Not exactly the same, but almost.
Okay.
Almost. He shared that memory where I was able to see his mate. I don't know if dragons call it wife or what, but his mate before, right as she died. And they were, he was very, very old, and they lived so long that they were there together during the uprising when all the dragons were first killed. And he saw her die, and all their eggs get smushed. And it was really, really tough. And
Real quick,
anyway,
Bright, are you saying smushed, or are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Not that you're actively deceiving, but it wasn't just being smushed.
I misremember it.
What
happened? I mean, well, okay, yeah, but yeah, okay. I'm leaving that part out. Goodness sakes.
Okay.
I don't want it to be gory. I just want it to be
okay.
Then
smushed is fine. I just wanted to make sure that the eggs weren't just smushed. There was actually a part 2 to that.
Okay. So smushed. That's where I'll leave it. And anyway, it was pretty tough, and I feel like because he was so good and he helped us even after what people did to his family, I just wanted to be able to go back to and find her, and maybe we could bury a scale next to her if we could find her. That's all.
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Well then, I'd like to take a little time and do that.
Very well.
If you want my help, you got it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know what you'll be able to do, but we can try. At least we can work together. I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
good at talking to people.
knows.
That's really
yeah,
all.
That's true. You can do that. You sure can.
May not always have the right words, but somehow people like me.
Then also for this time, what is the next step you're going to take as you've accomplished the goal of spreading Selene's ashes and you visited the dragon graveyard here? What is the next step for? I mean, starting with Mordecai here, because this is like a bright project here. But Mordecai, is there something you're setting up for? Do you need to book passage? Do you need to consider something else? What are you doing? Also.
Yeah, we'll need to book passage to the crater. But aside from helping Bright try and find the mate of Mr. Halver, I'm studying the book.
Okay.
See if there's something that I can learn from it.
Okay. How am I going to do this? All right. And for the professor, who's been kind of on this exploratory journey. By the way, Professor, don't worry. Everything so far, you can completely write off as an expense to your university expense account.
I mean, I went to the dragon graveyard, and I do have some notes to bring back from it. So
yep.
I have evidence to show.
You signed the guest book. Yeah, you have some some sketches, some other things, some other notes. So this was completely it was a business expense. And then since you're going along with the others, we need to book passage because that was really I think that was at your direction, was to at least have you and Bright go to the Fallfire Plains, or more specifically, let's bring this back over here. As we are down here. Yeah, and then you're gonna set sail to take a wider arc up this way, so then you can travel south to visit the crater. Then why don't we have you, Professor, do the booking in the broad, because I know you all can do the minutia on a day-to-day, but for people like to give a task, an overtime task to do this, let's split it up this way. Professor, go ahead and you can booking passage isn't a terribly complex thing. It can be done. However, what I will offer is you'll get a boat. Not like you don't need like the first like half floating ship that's gonna come into port kind of a thing. Like you don't need to go out of your way to endanger yourself. But either I can give you sort of like medium chance, medium reward, or you can go high risk, high reward for a difficulty for what I'm going to ask. But I will let it be your choice.
You know what? Go home. Let's go the high risk.
All right. Then what I would like you to do, I would like you to make 3 checks here. The first,
Okay.
I would like you to make an investigation.
How did I can do that?
20. Man, y'all are getting all these 21s. All right. So we have that. Now I would like you to make a. Charisma persuasion.
Can do.
Oof.
Okay.
Mordecai's better at that.
And then what I would like you to roll next would be a D8.
Yep. That'll be that one.
Okay.
Wow, the only thing I found was persuasion.
Okay. You found several ships that over the course of probably a week or two would be coming in and going in that direction, could drop you off. I mean, obviously there's no, it's not like calling an Uber or something. So there are several ships. There was one in particular that you had tried to get on that unfortunately didn't work out. However, someone did overhear that you were looking for tickets that would take you in that direction and were willing to sell them to you. However, as apparently demand has skyrocketed, you all have seen it just here and now. It is going to cost extra for you to get tickets. However, the tickets are to a really nice ship. In fact, it is none other than the Lellywellan's Gamble, as it's making its slow circuit around this inner sea. So there,
what a coincidence.
The cost is going to if you want to bear the cost, then it is going to be a roll a d4. Okay. From your pocket, or I don't know if you necessarily have this, or party funds, you have passage aboard the Lellywellan's Gamble. However, it is going to cost 700 gold for all 4 of you to ride, as the tickets are first class, and all of your amenities will be taken care of, as there is room in these luxury rooms that you are able to get. Though with that might come other possibilities, but this is going to be a large expense because it is a last-minute sort of ticket scalp, and it's for like really good seats.
Those are some pretty good seats.
I want to try and negotiate them down.
This is
Not even in the ballpark of what we can afford. Isn't that basically all of our money?
We have 2,100 gold.
But
It's
didn't we
about a
give
third.
Jaiden some for armor?
It's about the third of the cash.
it is.
We
have
have
some
we have
armor.
not spent anything else so far. So
But didn't we give Jaiden some for armor? Didn't she need 15?
she did. If that's the case, yeah, that would leave us 600 left.
Okay, let's take an out of character break and figure out if we gave Jaiden money or not.
I'm pretty
it was
sure we would have.
discussed.
That was discussed. So if you want it, Jaiden, then you have 1,500 gold to buy yourself some plate.
Otherwise, the acquisition of improved armor could very well be a goal of yours.
I figured that was going to be the goal.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can keep keep the money, get through this portion of it, and if it hinders me later, well, I can always die and re-roll. So.
I'm fine with this, like in
Casimir
meta
can make you
around the
armor.
table, winking a nod. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some
Casimir
armor
can.
crafting that can happen for half price. So yeah, this would be fine to pay the 700. Although
Is that round trip, or is that one way?
This is going to be for, it is ultimately one way. However, they are going to stop. The route is going to take you, and another reason why it's more expensive is not only is it a very luxurious lifestyle. You're going to go south between the mountain and the volcano. It is going to stop by a port city in Uct. It will skirt kind of past, and I'm not talking like, we're like a quarter mile offshore. Like, you might be able to see it in the distance, but it will skirt past the crater, and then make its way up here as it continues to kind of swirl the bowl as it has for hundreds and hundreds of years. Well,
basically we're getting there by a cruise ship.
Yeah,
Cruise ship.
you are. Yeah, you're not the from game one. We're not like riding steerage, and even then, we're also volunteering to maybe mop the deck if we're asked. This is you're actually in. You are in a like the suites, and also because of that, Mordecai, you're a carouser, you're a socializer here. That could expose you to others.
Wouldn't my entertainment feature as an entertainer in the background maybe incentivize a lower price?
Not incentivize, but you might be able to do something aboard the ship, as there are going to be other people who've paid other prices in order to ride.
You might be able to recoup some of the money.
So if you have a luxury suite, it'll help sell you as like a famous rock star.
Yeah, that is true.
If we want to go that route, sure.
You don't have to. You could sit back on a deck chair the whole time if you want. Just soak up the sun more.
I can't soak up
You can. Yeah. All right. So this is a complication that has occurred. That there is, in fact, you are able to get a ship. A lot of the ships have been booked. There's been a lot of people, a lot of commerce, and a lot of. There's been a lot of activity going on here in Mesotopia. The greater Mesotopia, not just Mesomasca. So there is a complication here. Now.
Then I just want to. Then I think we're gonna do it. I don't think we're not gonna do it, and just book it as the Chroma Company.
Oh.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Very well.
It's a shame that you're missing the purple of your Chroma the purple of the Chroma Company though. The violet.
Missing the black too.
And the black.
Now.
And the greens.
Well, the professor has been securing this and doing some investigating, some wheeling and dealing over time. In this, Mordecai, you were working with the book, and you're trying to do some research here into it, in some insight. And what I will ask of you then is, would you like to use this as an opportunity to try and get a little religion, or are you trying to study this more in an academic approach, not necessarily a matter of faith? How is your mind? Are you trying to consume this as religious material, or are you trying to consume this as scientific? I mean, Selene straddled a lot of things, and this is one of them, is this line between the two.
Right. Mordecai has always been a bit of a magical tinkerer. He never went to a bard college. He's always kind of put things together on his own and fiddled with the arcane in order to create things that are unique to him, maybe inspired from others, but unique to him. And so in studying the things that Selene wrote down in the book, yes, kind of trying to put together some of the things that she was making notes of, as far as like the Fae and vampires and the potential cure that she may have been on a path towards, but also what notes she's taken as far as her own magical ability, and try to put those into practice.
Okay.
Something else to learn from her after the fact.
Selene was quite the blend here. A lot of things might be able to work. Why don't we go with... You can make your choice of either an intelligence or wisdom-based arcana or medicine. I'll let you choose the combo here.
I am proficient in Arcana, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay. 22. It's bigger than 21. Okay. Your time with this book is giving you parallel vibes to your time spent aboard the Repentless. Well, the Maw or the Repentless, I don't know, like prior, when it was being built from the scraps that it was.
Right.
Because there's just, in your interpretation of this, there seems to be more. There's not a whisper, there's not little black hairs that are crawling out and guiding you, or kind of these weird hallucinations from that interaction. Though,
seems to revolve around Jaiden these days.
Though this, this is a... You're sitting and you're interacting with it, and the book, as you're pouring yourself into this book, and you're trying to understand, you're opening yourself up to this thing, there are times when these sketches almost seem to move before you. So, for example, it would be a... you'd be looking at a sketch that she must have made of her left arm. Which, you know, anatomically correct, so there's all the bones, because there was nothing blocking it. But as you're doing, you're thinking of the note, and also just these feelings for her have emerged. These desires. You almost, like, the ink... Not a huge range of motion, like in our IRL, like a little lenticular, like a little hologram. You know how you get like 3 or 4 like frames, so to speak, of something. You get like a little as you're contemplating, and like you go to move the page, and it just almost goes like that to you. And throughout the study, you find that there are interactions where what you are seeing on the pages is becoming attached to your sentiment or your thoughts. And you're able to find a I guess a pattern. It can be a little bit, it can be a little different here or there, but generally, this book seems to be able to read you, even as you are trying to read the book. And there is certainly magic that is imbued in this for this to happen. This from your Arcana, this is you're getting this vibe, in a sense, while there's no interaction with a particular metal, because the book is a book, it's a red leather and it has, you know, vellum, there is still this, like, you'd open it up to a page, and there would be, again, like a little, like she would have drawn her face, And you're like, oh, hello. Not really speaking, at least initially, not to her, but you're like, oh, hello, Selene. And there was just like the book picked up on that sentiment and would give you like a little, like a wink, or actually, we'll say this. You're like, hello, Selene, and as your mind would drift and your emotions flow here, maybe even as a tear lands on the page, because you are still capable of crying. You just get this kind of like in a 3/4 pose, just a finger to the mouth. Shh. So this book has an interaction, a magical suffusion of some kind. Not that you've exactly cracked anything regarding the fact it can interact with you as the reader, but so this is days of study, of notes, of interaction. Now what I would actually like, and Casimir, you of the four are going to be able to assist in your own manner here. First, Bright is going to need to see if she can find any such evidence based off of what she knows, and then depending on that, you might be able to step in and also lend an eye or some aid. And so, what I would like for Bright to do,
Did I miss anything that I needed to do while I was away, or was it all cipher things?
This was studying the book. So these are things that Bright might have been able to be filled in on, because I know you were kind of going in at least a half-time or like a part-time partnership with Mordecai and exploring it, because there were some things for you in that book as well. But no, I'm calling on you now. Like you're here, and this is going to be your role here.
Okay.
And so I would like you to. Just make a straight up intelligence check. And this is going to be a little game of chance. And by the way, Bright, you are floating from before. I don't know if you had loaded in.
I have a +1.
Okay, yeah, you do have a +1. Actually, I think. I have a +1 too. I can apply to something. So we have a Mordecai, Casimir, Stillwaters, Professor, me, and then Custos went to you. But yeah, I want you to just make a straight up intelligence as you are trying to, in a multiple disciplines with the scale adjusted for just a straight up ability check.
What am I rolling for?
Roll a d20
No,
plus intelligence.
I mean, what's the purpose?
Oh, this is for research. You're trying to research, you're asking questions, you're tracking down evidence of, on the dig site, here is this, and
Okay.
you're using your academic as a bit of a social, as kind of a social stat
Okay.
as well.
So as I overlook the dragon graveyard, I suddenly have a flash of, I look past something and then it catches my eye and I suddenly look back towards it. And it's almost as if I had to look at it twice, but I end up with an 18.
Oh, all right then. All right. So in this time as well, the passage is being booked. Mordecai is trying to discover more about this fascinating book. You are sorting through some information. It does seem like that there are at least partial skeletons of silver dragons, and the reason why they're not combined together is because they've at least been identified as separate ones. And you work your way into batting your eyelashes and also speaking with some academic expertise, such that you're able to get a closer look at the skeletons here. And given Casimir's role as a hunter, as someone who has had to go out and track down animals. In fact, Casimir, of all things, was introduced to the party because he saw a silver bird, I believe was the was the presumption. A silver bird in the sky kind of flashing around. Bright, for as much information as you would like to reveal to Casimir, Casimir might be able to look at the bones and determine more, or to try and pinpoint exactly what you're looking for, because Casimir has experience with, eggs and beasts and flying things and cutting and all sorts of, not fun to think about, but could be relevant to what you're doing.
You're muted.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay.
So I'm glad that everyone can read lips. That's useful.
Can tell you're trying to say something.
It's good enough. So all that. Oh, okay. So Casimir, remember when you first met us, and you were chasing that big silver bird?
Yes.
No, that was actually a dragon. Just wanted you to know that. But it was a good dragon, and it was our friend until it went insane, and then it tried to kill us. But aside from that, it was a very good dragon, and it was our friend. And that's why I didn't want to tell you about it at first, because he was our friend, and we thought you were just hunting a trophy or something, and I didn't want that to happen. But anyway, I can tell you a lot of things about him if you want, because I'm looking for another dragon who was just like him, except it was his mate. And well, because he was our friend, I want to honor him just like I would any of my other friends. If you'd be willing to help.
I can see what I can do, but not too sure on dragons. We've only killed once.
Guess that's something we have in common. How do you like that?
All right, so you are willing to help out Casimir, and while you may not have a lot of draconic experience, I mean, ribs are ribs, skulls are skulls. Anything that would have happened to the guts would have been long gone anyway. So you're gonna have to try and read the signs of what was left on the bones, and of course, being the boy, we have like the we have the vegetarian and the carnivore in a party here, putting their brains and skills together to try and come up with what happened. So what I would like you to do, Casimir, is riding on the coattails of Bright. While she is small, they're still very nice coattails. Plenty of room for you as a medium-sized creature to ride on. You are able to get access to these skeletons where you can actually get up close and look at, like, you can see the bones. You can touch them, you can get close, and interact with them. And so what I would like you to do, we're going to, I will ask for this is drawing on several disciplines like animal handling and medicine and whatnot. So Casimir, I want you to make a straight up wisdom check. As this is multidisciplinary and is taking time as you're trying to put a lot of things together.
Not bad.
Okay. So with a 17, you are, as you look at the remains, there is one of the skeletons that shows signs of being hacked and clawed, and there's even maybe like tooth marks. As a dedicated hunter, I mean, this is something you see a lot of, right? Scavengers, predators will come by, or I mean, you've seen predator animals just take down a live creature. And Well, Bright, the notes here are more or less saying that the scratches and whatnot might have been from tools at the dig site, or from, or honestly just cracks and whatnot over time. Casimir, you're certain that these dragon bones appear to have been, like, there are cuts and some gnaws that are in them.
Can I tell how big of a creature these gnaw bites are from?
Yeah, despite the size of this thing, these don't look like animal bites. These look like medium-sized humanoid creature bites, to put it broadly and specifically.
This one's weird. People bites on them.
Oh yeah, that's believable. That's something that happened way back then, when they killed the dragons.
Perhaps they were tasty.
Yeah, I don't think it was tasty. I think it was more of a cult thing. You know how sometimes you meet people who look like dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. But anyway, yeah, some humans did maybe nom on some dragons once. Do you think this was a silver dragon? Do you think it was a female dragon?
Would I have to make a roll for that?
No, you get you get one more piece here. So the first was being able to identify the bites as such. There are certainly some other marks, but you're seeing signs of some gnawing, chewing, or even some slashing. And judging from the remains that are here, given, looking at the other one, you're able to compare to some other skeletons here. It does look like, from what you're seeing, Casimir, the dragon skeletons do have different skeletal structures, and at least between some that are in the museum here, there does seem to be some kind of, at least low-key within the same species of dragon, some sexual dimorphism. So this one does have evidence that it could be a female. I mean, if you want to BS Bright, she's being very wide-eyed and optimistic, and you can speak with certainty. You, Casimir, DM to Casimir, it's not a female dragon. Or, wait, did I say... I want to make sure I'm leaving a little bit of open for doubt, but there's nothing saying that it couldn't be a female dragon. You haven't found anything in particular that would directly counter that hope that Bright has.
Is it wearing a little corset?
Nice little bonnet, just a...
See bow at the end? Yes.
Yeah. Just a petrified bow, yeah.
I think perhaps this one is female.
The best candidate?
Yes, you see, if assuming dragons are like lizards, female lizards are bigger and spiky. This one's bigger and spiky.
Yeah, because they have to have room to lay the eggs.
Mm-hmm. And they have more physical defense.
Okay, so for Matty, is it like on display in a museum, like in the Natural History Museum, or are they?
Well, it is, but you were able to, again, bat your eyelashes, and it's on display, but they're able to, get like a little rolling ladder over, so...
As if I would need a ladder.
Well... Some people may not want magic spells flung around in a natural history museum.
No, I just picked her up.
So these are various clues that you have. Though I will note for things like Speak with Dead, those spells do not seem to have an effect on the remains of the dragons, whether due to time or something else. Even if they do have jaws, there are many a Ouija and other scholars that have been through here and tried.
Yeah, that's okay. I can't cast that spell anyway. I can speak with the living.
It's a solid cantrip. I recommend everyone take that. Along with Detect Fire, Ranged Touch.
Okay. The somatic component for that is not very fun.
Well, we suffer for our art. So clues are put together. The ship has pulled in. The expenses have been paid.
Okay.
And for things like you, with Bright, if there are, because I think I sent you a message about it, or we talked about, if there's some other like spells or things that are related to pad your book a little bit along the way as we do these things, let me know. But we can presume, like, I don't need a roll to get a spell into your spell book.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that right now, but
Okay.
I want to talk to you about it in the off week, though.
Sure.
But yeah, so I just want to tell well, I mean, it's sad that she's on display. Because that kind of changes things a little for me. I was hoping I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see her. I mean, if she had still been, buried, it would be another story. But with her up on a display on a stand like this, I don't know. I just want to walk over, and is anybody looking at me?
Yeah, you. There is a museum attendant that's here that has given you. I mean, you've been attended to by staff to allow for this. It's not like, oh yeah, because you're not like an old time researcher that they knew back in in Magic College or anything.
Okay. Okay. Well then, in that case, I just want to. I guess I'll just talk to the researcher. I'll tell the researcher. I can't do the gnomish mind belt today. I don't have it ready. But I want to tell the researcher that this is a very special dragon. Her husband and my friend and I, we pretty much are pretty sure that it's her just by the notes. He lived a lot longer. He lived into the present day long enough for me to meet him. I know people say that the dragons are all gone, but I know they're not because I've seen them. And he was a very good dragon. He helped a lot of people, even though people did this to him. And I just think she should be put in a place of honor somehow. I don't know what to do for it, but I don't know. Does it make sense to you?
There's a conversation can certainly come up here. This is a place of honor. This is a place of learning where others can appreciate the past. You're also getting the side note that this researcher completely understands there are plenty of people who've interacted with the dragons. You ask half the dragons in Kandor, and they're going to tell you that they are dragons. Like, they're the living, breathing, reborn, like, full-blooded dragon.
Yeah, and I mean the real thing.
And you get that, and you deal with some of those. Those are some real cocky dragonborn right there.
I've met them too.
But it's, belongs in a museum. It's a great story that you said. If you have proof of this, you're welcome to bring it in as they'll add it. But there's any sort of removal or reburial is both above this researcher's station. and as well as the government of Lacuna, who is also kind of the one furnishing the museum and much of the digs in conjunction with academic studies. So you're not being talked. Well, I mean, you're being talked down to physically, but not. But you're not getting like, oh, that's a cute little story, you little gnome, and pat. It's you're getting a peer. Yes, I understand. That sounds like it could be a plausible story, but unless there's anything that could back this up, or we could submit it as further evidence for the display, it's going to remain as it is, under our protection and under our care, as we continue to learn more about our past. The history is living all around us, and well, yeah, more than you know. And
after Bright's done talking with the researcher, I pull her aside for a second. Do you think they would believe us if we had dragon scales? And do something for her then.
So, I thought of that. Actually, I mean, one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to bury the scales with her. But I mean, we can't do that now. But, I mean, we could donate the scales to the museum. Maybe we can donate one. We don't have to donate all of them.
See what happens.
Just to prove it. I mean, I was thinking that too, but yeah. So, it's kind of funny because I have this scale in my inventory, but it's big. So how have I been carrying it around? I don't know.
I have 5 of them on my person, so.
Oh, I thought we only had 5 total.
Yeah, we do. So
yeah.
I
you have them all
on my sheet, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, then in that case, that explains that mystery. Maybe you could give them one of those scales.
Think they'd pay for it? I'll
But
find out.
because I'm asking them for a favor, I don't know if they'll pay for it because of that. Because,
It's worth a shot. Worst they can say
it's
is no.
true. It's true. You do that sort of thing really well. I think I'll stay in this other room while you do that, though.
So Mordecai goes to see if he can persuade them to purchase a dragon scale from him as evidence of dragons in the modern day.
Where are you saying that you found these?
Mesomasca. I'm not being specific.
All right. Then they are interested in acquiring it. Without specifics, though, this is a. Oh, Demon Quiller! Thank you very much for the sub. They are going to interact with you, but this is not going to be beneficial, as a lot of people come by, or they do want to make money off of archaeology, and not everyone has come by through the most above board or legal means. And so if you're willing to sell it, they're willing to take it from you, such that whether this is legitimate or not, it's in their care and not, circulating out amongst others. But this is going to be if you're being vague, it's going to be difficult to get perhaps a premium here, because it's not a good faith negotiation.
How specific do they want me to be? Because Mesomasca is not very big.
Well, I mean, Mesomasca is about the size of Italy. So if you
Big
just
enough.
say, oh, I got this in Italy. Where? Italy.
They want to authenticate it, I'll let them.
Somewhere in the heel.
Yeah. Well, there's really there would be no proof. I mean, if you're saying Mesomasca, and then you say, well, here, you can look for yourself, it's a Mesomascan scale. Like, there's no evidence that it would be a Mesomascan found scale. You're offering them a silver dragon scale.
But it's real.
Yeah.
And it's modern, and it's not decayed. So that's evidence of it being that dragons are real in the modern day.
Museums don't always have stuff on display for the public. So
If they want to buy it for their private collection.
So go ahead and as we are making we're making a interaction here. I would like you to make it could be interesting to run it like that. I'm not going to though. All right, I would like you to make a charisma persuasion, and though this is going to be at disadvantage.
Oh, that's such butts.
You're getting something out of it. This is just seeing what you can negotiate for.
You should.
I'm gonna use my +1. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
adding that to that.
Yep, add your +1.
Big money.
That's- Kitty Bird the Shiny, thank you for the +1 to Mordecai.
18.
All right. So an 18, and what is this is going to net you a payout, and I would like you to also roll a D8.
D8s.
Yeah. Okay. So you are offered you are offered 100 gold pieces for the scale.
I could tell you the tale of how we got it. And so I start to tell him about the fact that we fought a dragon, thought extinct. And does that entice him more?
No. If anyone was fighting dragons, they would have heard about it.
And you just did. Never mind, I'm not there.
Well, I suppose I'll find other uses for this then. And I'll pass on the 100 gold.
All right. The ship arrives, and the four of you load up to start
That's
heading
the right
south.
choice. I would have passed on that deal too. It's not a very good deal.
100 for a dragon scale? Proof that dragons exist in the modern day? Who's lowballing me?
Wonder why they didn't jump on you. I mean,
Right.
it seems like proof like that would be revolutionary to them. Do you think they
Exactly.
didn't believe you?
I had it in my hand in front of him. I don't understand why it is that he thought that it would be faked.
I mean, it could be a fake, right?
He
Is there-
probably thought it was painted silver blood skin. Wait, sundogs.
I could have he could have authenticated it as far as a real dragon scale. He'd have been able to determine whatever material it would have been otherwise.
So, you know what I'm thinking? They probably already know.
Probably not wrong.
Well, how about
And
that?
if they're not as rare as they once were, then perhaps we'll put it to better use otherwise.
Make some armor.
I mean, Mr. Halver was a very good dragon, but all the same, I'm happy to have the dragons in the past.
All right. Then you all board Lelywell's gamble and head off. However, I am going to cut back to a series of some downtime here for Jaiden, who is returning. Well, actually, I mean, you're in Greenshield. Never mind. You don't. Well, you're in Greenshield, but you're going to return to Mask of Horns over here. Before you depart, I mean, there's you're on your own time scale here for any sort of investigations or things that you wish to do. By the time you return, unless she's bounced out again, our dear Miss Quum is presumably already back at the Wild Chewy and is awaiting you. Though before departing, do you wish to have any other interactions with the residents, your family, or the town of Greenshield?
I believe I would have taken a walk around.
Okay.
Said my goodbyes to the parents and tried to keep up with local news, especially as it comes to these flowers, the mushrooms that have overtaken the town at one point. Concerns about, well, pretty much everything at this point. The Shadowheart Empire, the concept of these vampires and dragons returning, and it's just too much to take in. I often find myself sometimes wishing for something a bit more mundane. That's probably why I ended up deciding to go to Miss Crumb. Because at the very least, Miss Crumb would be the closest thing to mundane. I try and keep my goodbyes brief. I very much doubt I'll be able to end up affording much. I have to save hold of what little coin I carry. So at this point I'm in the back of a wagon. Some kind of cart, maybe pulling hay or some other traveling goods, heading back to Mask of Horns.
Before you go to Mask of Horns, and as you are, you're not just up and leaving after your mom had given you a special care package to take with you, because you had that conversation, and then of course your dad was still trying to come to terms with things as they currently are.
As we both are.
Well, yeah. He's before you depart. Over the course of time, there have been... He's going through different stages of coming to terms with this. And it's...
Then he's already well ahead of me.
And what I would like you to do here is, before you leave, your father would like to know that you may be... that you are still Jacob, even if you're not Jacob, and he's trying to address this in all different ways. He's trying to find a language. He's trying to find ways to talk and ways to communicate with you.
It could have been worse. I could have been made into a tiefling.
And so, don't you talk about And what your father is going to do, Jaiden, is before you kind of catch a hay wagon, that because you can help out if you want to lend a hammer as just someone to go along the highway, make sure nothing happens, or if you want to go along as a simple laborer, everyone could always use someone to help haul cargo.
I pitch in wherever I can.
But
really, it's just a matter of keeping your hands busy. Your father, if he cannot at this moment rely on his own thoughts or his feelings, if you cannot rely on your thoughts or your feelings, there is one way to determine if you two are still good. Not said like you're being disowned, but there is a proof. There's a proof in something that is undeniable. And so your father brings up that old quote about violence is the golden standard, and this is something that you've come to know. And Jaiden, this is what this is going to lead to, especially as your dad and you are taking a bit of a walk. This is going to turn into a wrestling match, because your old man
your old man has always been strong. He's always known how to handle himself in a fight. You've grown up and tried to be as well. And you know what? If you can exert your strength on him, if he can feel the punch, if he can feel that life,
Jade
that
was
vigor,
always better at this.
then that's something that he knows is undeniable, and he can use that as a foundation for his coping going forward. Your dad isn't always tactful or probably uses the best words, but that's what he's going to express to you. And so with that, Jaiden, your dad takes you to I don't know. There's probably like not necessarily a park, but there's I don't know, an area that you two used to spar. I'm sure he gave you some training where he'd teach you how to take people down. It was all part of like almost even like preparing you to step in his shoes. And so you go there, and he does a couple stretches. Shirt comes off, looks at you, and go. You can keep yours on if you want. And then he is getting into a position here, and he's definitely older, but he's got that old man strength, and so we have, he's not going to be a pushover. He is still solid. By the way, real quick, Coffee, did you ever watch that clip from Ren and Stimpy?
No, I did not. Nobody sent me one, so I didn't.
I thought you were sent the clip. Oh yeah, I thought Derek sent you the clip.
Yeah, the clip was sent to the our private chat.
I didn't watch it.
All right.
I did.
So
many notifications.
Jaiden, your dad, shirt's off. Dude is still. I mean, the skin's still hanging a little looser. He's got old man strength, and he has years of doing this. And he's the one who taught you. So unless you might have picked up some moves on patrol or from some other people here, you need to prove your strength. This is like Festivus here. We have feats of strength and the airing of complaints, and we're gonna see how this. What's that?
Grievances.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's the airing of grievances. I'm sure there's even an aluminum pole around somewhere too. So we're gonna handle this as per the rules of pit fighting in the Downtime. In Xanathar's guide here. So this is actually going to be a series of checks for you to make. You are floating a +1, by the way. So you can choose to invoke that. So the character must make a series of checks with a DC determined at random based on the quality of the opposition the character runs into. And we're high quality. I'm not going to deny you. A big part of the challenge lies in the unknown nature of the character's opponents. Well, you actually do have a little bit of an advantage from that prompt because you know your old man. He probably hasn't learned too many new tricks. It's just that the ones that he knows are really solid and foundational. So the character makes 3 checks, and the first is going to be a strength athletics, followed by a dexterity acrobatics, and then a special constitution check. That we'll get to. It has a bonus equal to a roll of the character's largest hit die. But as you're a single class, it is what it is. Let's see. If desired, the character can replace one of these skill checks with a weapon attack. Now, you're not going to be slamming your dad in the noggin with a warhammer, but we can, we can simulate the punch.
Not. I would be slamming my dad's noggin into the warhammer.
Yeah, well,
it's the other way around.
All right.
Sand in the eyes, slamming the head in a wagon door. It's all legal.
Hey, as a patrolman, you got to be prepared for a lot of stuff because the people you arrest don't play by the same rules that you do. So while you shouldn't always use them, you should always be prepared for it. And then if you ever got to use them, you got to make sure that, you tell people not to put that on the report. So we have, we're going to start with a strength athletics check. And I am going to be generating the difficulty class because this is a contest between two living beings. Feet can slip out or circumstances can be there. And so as we're going to do this one at a time, would you like to invoke your +1 on this athletics check?
Nope.
All right. Then what I would like you to do is roll an athletics check.
Ooh.
A 12.
That
And
is remarkably low.
and I am going to roll a... Okay. So in this first part of your bout, this was an exorbitantly separate. Okay, so you do not win this one. You got a 12, and old Pa got a 21.
It's always the sand in the eyes. It's always the sand in the eyes.
Now, after being hit by pocket sand, I need a dexterity acrobatics.
I would like to replace this one with a weapon attack.
Very well. You can replace this with a weapon attack.
Okay.
Wow. 31. That's a crit out there, everyone. All right. So, your dad knocked you, and you're like, all right, Dad, I got that. And step up. And like you just, there's sand in the eyes. You keep saying that. And he comes over, and he's about to gloat, and you just, like you come up. I mean, your fist may as well be a hammer.
Does he have this nice new scar directly across the chest? Maybe an eye patch at this point. So I kind of imagine him like this elderly Sagat at this point.
Jaiden uppercut. Jaiden uppercut. Jaiden knee. Oh man! So yeah, you just he got the first like kind of like threw you to the ground. I thought, I thought you were my son, or even my daughter could stand up better than you. Just like you look up, and the momentum from like wiping the blood from your nose goes into the, and you stagger, like a solid hit, and it's your dad's turn to bleed now, as you just land this awesome hit on him here. And then lastly, because this is now turning into an endurance match, he tagged you. You tagged him, and now it's time to see, if your body as it is now, as it was then, just from any differences or just you existing in this world, and you need to prove to yourself and your dad, or even the world itself, maybe even to your sister, I am here, I'm alive, I am whatever I am. I am Jaiden, or however. I don't want to put the necessarily a bunch of words. I don't want to get the concept across. But now this is going to be a special Constitution check. So this is a con check with a bonus equal to the roll of the character's largest hit die. So this is going to be or I guess you roll a D10 first. Then you're gonna add that to a Constitution check. All right, so this is a 23. Very good. Now,
Nope.
I am going to generate. I'm going to generate a DC because I wasn't even going to generate it for that critical hit because that was there's no way that I can even beat that if I maxed out. I'm going to generate a DC for this. See if your 23 beats it. I am. Because your dad is not going to let you go without that true final test. I am going to invoke a 1+1 on this as well. So this is from Wolfblade, and Wolfblade, we'll see where this is going here. So this is going to be a /roll 2d10 plus 6 instead of 5. And here we go. 18. And so I mean you are in a brawl. Like this isn't like a 5-minute skirmish. Like this is you two just like maneuvering and like you're getting hits in, and you're doing little like a little kidney shot, like you kind of come around. You're even able to teach him a thing or two here, and by the end like your old man, like kind of just goes to take a swing, and you're able to get out of the way, and he falls down, and not in a bad like I'm having a heart attack way. He just falls down, and his barrel chest is. You. You got me. I think that I needed to be taught a lesson. Maybe not the other way around. He holds his hand up to you. To, like clasp forearms if you can help him up. And...
Dad, if I wanted to end up teaching you a lesson, it would have involved the crowbar.
So you help him up, and he's got like he's got some blood, sweat. He even has tears, because he's just in this point of realization, like he looks like a man crushed and defeated, but like the tears coming down that's glistening in the setting sun, because you've been brawling out in your special training place for a while here. Gets up. I don't care what you are, except for the fact. Spits blood out. Tests a tooth with his tongue. Except for the fact, there's no doubt in my mind that you're mine. And he like you go to salute, and he just gives you like a big gorilla hug, and like his muscles combined with his like 60 grit sandpaper body hair just like scrapes against you as just this, your big barrel chested dad who has certainly, like, he wasn't going light on you. You didn't do it in return, but in this moment, in this time, I think you've broken this old bull in, and there is no doubt that the words that he spoke to you are true, that no matter what you are, who you are is his, and he doesn't feel a lack of attachment or I guess a distance, especially in this very close moment here. And he tells you that you two should probably hit up the one like the natural spring bath on the way back, because Mom's gonna get really upset that we were out doing this. And what I'm going to say here, especially because you had that super clutch crit, that this is going to count as 3 successes instead of 2 on this. And so you two, you spend some time. Your dad's gonna take you out, get you a beer. You're going to go and wash up, and when you two get home, you're definitely going to have bruises, but
Mom's going to be yelling at us all night.
Yeah, well, not much she can do about what happened, but you know what? Well, we did this for each other, son, and so, if we're coming back and happy, then hopefully she'll be happy too. So you spend one last night here. You're taken out for a meal, a beer. And when you get up in the morning, your dad tells you, you've proven a lot of things, including that I shouldn't have been as concerned about it, but every inch of you deserves this. It deserves this. This has been in the family for a while, and you are still family. Absolutely. And he is going to give you some personal savings that he said that he set aside for you for the day that would come when you yourself would perhaps have a family. As he's been kind of saving his retirement money, but he's going to give you 200 gold pieces. And he says it honestly would have been a little less, but, well, Jade isn't here to also receive part of this. So, I guess for the both of you, here's 200.
I haven't given up looking for her yet. really haven't. I will go and do what I can. I need to end up keeping focused on the job, sir. So with that, look after Mom, and I've never been any good at this talking thing either. Should we just swig a beer and call it a night?
Yeah. That'd work. Or here, bring it in. I'm hugging you, but I'm hitting you.
Smack.
It gives you like taps on the back.
The back of his head.
And you also feel that he slips something into your pocket, or at least he tries to. But unfortunately, some of Jade's attire doesn't have pockets because unfortunately that's how fashion works. You're gonna have to get used to it. So it was a bit of a clumsy attempt, and he kind of looks and like,
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that.
just take it. You're going to Mask of Horns. I know some people there in their precinct, and one of them owes me. And by extension, I'm calling this in. Remember, Jaiden, always pay your boons. When you go back there, go to the precinct, ask for that officer, and
I got it.
It's a bigger city. They're going to have, I think, something that is going to keep you safer than what I can offer you here.
Well, let's be honest. The worst I ever had to deal with was bandits.
And from here, you end up catching a hay cart or, another transportation. You're traveling, unless you want to travel not modestly, you have some coinage. But if you still want to, be on the road, then...
Keeping him honest, I have always kept expenses down.
All right.
Never know when an extra coin would help.
Then what we'll do here, if you all at least can allow me, I need to take a quick little break. When we come back, I'm going to pick back up with a couple downtime tasks for you in Mask of Horns, Jaiden. And then we can hop back and continue to resolve some things around Mesotopia. So here we'll take a break, everyone. Get up, get a snack, a drink, stretch, use the restroom, do what you got to do. And we'll return back to all of this shortly.